Welcome to Big Willow Park in Minnetonka. Picture perfect afternoon for Section 6 4A baseball. A second round game, the third seed, the Armstrong Falcons, and the number 2 seed, the Hopkins Royals. Both teams right around the 500 mark coming in. I'm Jay Wilcox along with Drew Keogh, and kind of a tale of two different games, Drew, for these teams in the first round. Armstrong, no problem whatever. They won 18-2 in 5 against Southwest. Meanwhile, Hopkins, a big surprise. They had to really struggle and overcome a deficit to beat Cooper by a score of 3-2. As we look at the Armstrong lineup for Coach Brian Sobiak, Eric Goldman, the second baseman, will lead it off. Braden Gray at third base, Preston Reed, the shortstop, Dawson D, the catcher, hits fourth. Mitchell Waletsky, the pitcher, will hit fifth. Nate Pertola in left field, hitting in the sixth spot. Then it's Mike O'Malley, the DH, Jarek Kuznia, the first baseman, and Alex Proctor, the right fielder. And the defensive alignment for Jason Mikalakis and the Royals. Got Ross Nordine, Joey Swanson, and Wyatt Nelson in the outfield. Bobby Wilson, Matt Shaw, Morgan Holmes, and Tommy Auth around the infield. Al Chiraboga doing the catching and doing the pitching today for the Royals is big right-hander Ben Wallin. And Wallin on the season has pitched 29 innings. He started 6 games for the Royals, so definitely one of their main guys year long. His record doesn't look phenomenal, but he's a good pitcher. 1 win, 5 losses, 4.83 ERA. In those 29 innings, he's allowed 33 hits. He's walked 17, fanned 25. And here we go. First pitch taken for a strike here by Eric Goldman.
Yeah, Jay, as you said, beautiful day for baseball, a little breeze, not too much chance for rain, maybe a passing shower, but nothing serious, and it's a fun day over here at the ballpark.
Goldman, a chopper down the third baseline. It is a fair ball. Long throw across is in time, and Goldman is retired. That was a little slow roller there. Bobby Wilson had to make sure he was ready for the challenge, and he got it done.
Yeah, nice play by Wilson there. You want to come up quick and get that ball over to first base as fast as you can. You got the leadoff hitter trying to do anything he can to get on base. A little speed down first base, but to get that first out.
Braden Gray will be the batter here for the Falcons, one of their top hitters this year, hitting a .388. Has 8 doubles, a triple, a home run. He's driven in 12 and scored 15. So he's that kind of guy who's an on-base guy, but also with a little pop here in the second spot in the order, and one of their more intimidating hitters up there.
Good characteristics for a 2-hole hitter. Sometimes you want to see that leadoff batter get on, and then they do anything to get that runner around the bases. But with nobody on here, you're doing anything you can do to put the ball in play and try and get on base.
Pretty much everything went right for Armstrong in that win against Southwest. The Lakers had some trouble in the field, but hit the ball around pretty nicely too. There's a look at Brian Sobiak, and kind of interesting to say it, but he's kind of one of the veteran coaches around the area now. I remember him, as a player for the Falcons, and then an assistant coach, and he's been in charge of this program for a while, taking him to the state tournament. And Gray fouls that one off the catcher Chiraboga's helmet. You could hear that one, and umpire wanting to make sure that he's all right.
Yeah, good solid swing, foul tip, caught him right in the shoulder, I think. And
yeah, I think it got up into the mask, actually,
mask?
Yeah.
Still kind of stuns you when that ball comes in and it doesn't hit where you're expecting to hit it, and it catches you in the mask, catches you a little off guard.
Coach Mikalakis out there to double check with him, and they want the trainer to come and talk to him. Obviously, there's a great more awareness of concussion type things now, and that's why he's calling him out. The umpire realized right away, you could hear it by the sound, that it really thunked that mask pretty good.
Yeah, and the concussion thing is always something you want to be aware of, especially with youth sports. These kids are going to do anything they can to stay in the game, but it's important for the adults involved to make sure that they're safe and they're taken care of, and you don't run any risk. And most of these coaches and training staff have to pass certification and courses in making sure that the concussions are definitely paid attention to.
Breaking ball hangs up high here from Wallin. Obviously, we go into this this Memorial Day weekend, so whoever wins this game in particular will be sitting good pitching-wise. They've got time before those next games. The tournament resumes after the holiday. Gray, a rip and a miss. I always feel like it kind of, you know, obviously we do section softball and baseball every year at this time. And I always feel like it kind of springboards into the weekend with a really good feeling for the team that wins this last game on the Friday afternoon, too.
Well, yeah, definitely having a chance to get, you know, towards one game closer to that section final and closer to state is a nice little boost for the weekend.
Wallin loses him, and Gray will draw a one-out walk here for Armstrong in the top of the first. And now Preston Reed, who's been a hot hitter for the Falcons.
Number 4, Preston Reed.
Hitting .453 this year, 7 doubles, 1 homer, 15 runs batted in. He had that 1 home run on CCX against Osseo, a line drive down the left field line. Reed squaring early, then pulls the bat back and nearly got hit by that pitch. Ball 1 inside.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few Armstrong games over the years, and Jay, as you said, you've watched this coach this program for quite a while, and that's just that's how they play baseball. They play small ball when they can and try and do anything they can to get a run across the plate. You know, you got that 2-hole hitter down at first base after a walk and show bunt, and maybe you line him up and drive a gap here.
Yeah, they've had some recent teams, even ones that got to the state tournament, that they really admitted weren't particularly strong hitting teams. They had pitching, they had some speed, and I think this year they feel like maybe a little more, you know, weighted toward having some bats that can scare people a little bit more than a couple. I mean, I remember that about 3 years ago where they had a team that it was in the state tournament, but boy, it was after about the first 4 spots in the order. There were some not real pretty averages. It was kind of fun to see how they made things work with that, you know, like you said, bunting guys over on occasion, you know, hit and run, steal, and things like that to manufacture enough runs. And that one nicked him. Reed is hit by a pitch, so I think Wallin's a little bit jacked up here in this first inning and overthrown a little bit maybe. He walked Gray, and then he hits Reed, and Dawson D, the catcher, will be the batter. But first, there's going to be a little conference on the mound for the Royals.
Yeah, this is a good start for Armstrong. You want to do anything you can to get runners on base and put Hopkins back on their heels early in the game. Usually, you know, you want to get out of that first inning clean, but obviously Hopkins isn't going to be able to do that. What they want to do here is make sure everybody's on the same page and they're not trying to force a double play or make a throw at home and let the runners advance. You want to make sure everybody knows what's going on and get one out at a time without letting Armstrong get an early jump in this game.
Dawson D's come on pretty strong of late here for the Falcons. You've seen him have some big hits. He had a good game the other day against Southwest, and he's hitting .391. He's 3 doubles, a triple. He's driven in 10. So Falcons trying to get things started here. The first batter was retired, but then a walk and a hit by pitch. So 2 on with 1 out for the cleanup guy D.
Good spot here for Armstrong to get something started.
Wallin inside with that fastball. I'm sure the Royals were kind of, you know, and obviously Wallin's trying to throw strikes here, but I think they're kind of telling him, you know, trust your stuff. And downstairs with that one, so 2-0.
Yeah, you like to see him settle down. He's looking into the dugout trying to get some support, and his pitches haven't really been that close. After that first batter, he was inside, and now pitch was a little low.
There's a rip and a miss. He had the green light there on 2-0. Yeah, you're right. Some of Wallin, you know, if they're not close enough to make the hitter really have to think about swinging, then you're kind of putting yourself in a tough spot.
Yeah, it's not an effective pitch. You want it to be at least effective to make the hitter at least think about swinging.
He fouls another one off the catcher here. Chiriboga's taking a little beating. That one lower on the body, though, not off the head.
Yeah, last 2 pitches by Wallin have been great. They've been in the zone or just outside the edge. And what you're trying to do here early in the game is you're also trying to create some understanding of what the umpire is going to give you. So you want to keep those pitches close to the outside of the zone. You don't want to blow away an easy ball. You want to make it close so you can find out what the zone stretches out to be.
Liner into left field. Gray, I think, will be held up here. He had to hold up to make sure that ball wouldn't be caught, so really not much chance to score him there, but everybody moves up a base here. D just reached out. It was not a real full hard swing. He just kind of put that ball in play, but put it in a good spot. So first base hit of the ball game for Armstrong, and now the base is loaded up for Mitchell Waletsky, the pitcher. And there's a look at the courtesy runner coming on is Ulysses Ponce, running for D, who is the catcher. And obviously high school baseball, you can have courtesy runners for the pitcher and the catcher, and that's what they utilize here.
Yeah, good swing there by D. Got the ball down in the zone and kind of just drove it out into left field. Didn't try and kill it, didn't try and hit it over anybody's head. Hit it through the left side gap and got on base to load the bases here.
Waletsky a .250 average this year, 7 runs batted in. Oh, and he is hit by the pitch, and now the bases will be loaded still as Gray comes in to score the first run of the game here for the Falcons. Wallin trying to work the inside part of the plate, but coming inside a little too much. So now Waletsky will be run for at first base here by Quinn McGrath.
Yeah, not what you want to see from Wallin there. He had a couple good pitches. He was building a little consistency there, but then he got back up and in again, and that time he hit the batter and he couldn't really afford it, so he gives up the first run of the game.
So Nate Pertula will be the batter here for Armstrong. He's hitting at .319 on the year, 467 on base average because he's walked 13 times, so good eye up there too. Armstrong trying to build on a 1-0 lead, bases full, 1 out. Looks at strike 1.
Yeah, I think these are just the little things that Armstrong does and has been doing for several years. I would assume they have a take sign there, take a strike, and if you're taking, you might as well square around, show a bunt, make the defense think a little bit and kind of throw the pitcher off guard.
Down low there, 1-1.
Good pitch, just off the plate, and a little down.
Corner infielders in at the edge of the grass here for Hopkins, and they would come home on a ball hit right at them. It looks like in the middle they would try and turn 2. Late swing there. Pertula behind that one from Wallin.
Important here for Wallin to just, don't think too much about it. That's what I tell my kid is don't think, just throw. And oftentimes when he does that, he throws it right at me. Otherwise, it's 10 feet over my head. But for Wallin, it seems like the less he's trying to throw hard, when he's not throwing the hardest, he's hitting the zone and getting strikes.
And a cut and a miss, and Pertula down on strikes. A big strikeout there for Wallin. And now Mike O'Malley will hit for Armstrong. For as much of a struggle as this first inning has been, if Wallin could get out of it only at 1-0, I think that'd be a win for he and the Royals.
That'd be a huge win for Hopkins to get out of this, and after getting the bases loaded and then hitting a batter to bring in the first run of the game. If you can get out of this inning just giving up 1 run, that's a big accomplishment and something to build on.
Mike O'Malley hitting .316 this year. 10 runs batted in. He's got 5 doubles. So in the lineup as the DH, that generally tells you they like his bat a little bit. Lifts this one up to left field. Very high fly ball into that sunny sky, and they stay with it. O'Malley is retired, and Hopkins does indeed get out of it with just that 1-run scoring. 1 run on 1 hit. No errors by the Royals and 3 left on. So after a half inning, Armstrong leading it by a score of 1-0. Hopkins will try and answer, and the lineup will look like this for Jason Mikalakis and the Royals. Luke Polyak, the DH, will lead it off. Then it is Kyle Chiraboga, Morgan Holmes. The first baseman Tommy Oth hits cleanup. Wallin, the pitcher, hits 5th. Then it's Bobby Wilson, Matt Shaw, Wyatt Nelson, and Joey Swanson, the center fielder, hitting in the number 9 spot. And the defense for Armstrong today, Pertula, Jordan Page, who's not in the batting lineup, is in center field, and then Proctor in right. Gray, Reed, Goldman, and Kuznia around the infield with Dawson D catching. And Mitchell Waletsky on the mound for Armstrong. Kind of an interesting use of pitching in this early part of the playoffs. He actually started the game the other day against Southwest just a couple of days ago, but they pulled him early. It was pretty apparent that they were going to be able to win that game, so he came out, saved him, and coming right back to start him in this one. He has started 6 games this year, a record of 2-3 with a 2.14 ERA, 32 2/3 innings pitched, and a first pitch strike there to Polyak.
Yeah, good ERA. Must be having a good season. Not a ton of wins, but that's not how you can judge a pitcher. You judge a pitcher usually by their ERA, and a solid ERA, and you want to get him back there out in the mound, especially with a chance to move towards closer to the section finals here.
Good walk to strikeout ratio as well. 12 walks, 39 Ks, and he's going to Minnesota Duluth. There's a look at Coach Mikalakis coming in and taking over this Royals program this year. They're going to have their field redone, which Armstrong has gone through this year. They're Armstrong playing over at New Hope's Lighted Field this year as their home site for this season. And the Royals played at home this year. This one lifted foul down the left field line.
That's a tough play up against a fence, a field you're not familiar with, and just a foul ball, nothing to worry about.
And the Royals, they're going to start working on. I kind of assumed that they had, already started to tear down the field at the high school, and that's why these playoff games were at Big Willow. But it was more a choice made really by the coaches. They said the field there is not in the greatest of shape, and they like this one. So, and there's a called third strike as he comes back fastball, and Polyak caught looking. First strike out of the game for Waletsky.
Good start there by Waletsky, throwing some good pitches. First batter there, he likes to get right up the mound and get quick to that windup. He leads out the game with a nice strikeout.
Kyle Chiriboga hitting at .351, a .490 on base percentage this year for the Royals. Takes that one down low. 13 hits and 37 at bats, all of them singles. That one is over for a strike. Yeah, you mentioned Waletsky works quick, and I'm guessing at some point the Hopkins hitters will say, let's maybe step out a time or two. We need to slow down his momentum a little bit. Hard one hopper hit at second, and the flip to first in time. Kind of a tailor-made way to get yourself into the game for Goldman there. A pretty easy one hopper, and 2 gone here. Morgan Holmes will be the batter.
Yeah, good solid contact to the opposite side of the infield, but easy hop for the second baseman. Come up, good short hop to the first base and get that second out. And Jay, you're right. I think we saw it earlier on the first at bat. These Hopkins hitters aren't going to be hesitating to step out when Waletsky does a quick pitch, and hitters don't really appreciate that. And sometimes it takes a while for hitters to get confident enough to call it out and say, hey, I need a little time to get set in here.
First pitch taken for a ball here by Holmes. And Holmes drives this one to left field, and you can forget about it. Home run. Morgan Holmes jumps on it and blasts his 4th home run of the season, and we are tied up at 1 in style for the Royals.
Good solid swing there. That ball did not take long to get out of the park. Not very high in the air. That was a line drive home run. You don't see those that often.
Made good contact with it and jumped on it and drives it out. So the Royals pumped up. An answer they needed after kind of a tough, top half of the first inning.
That was a long first inning for them in the field, and for Morgan Holmes to come up on that and just crush the ball over the left field fence and tie this game up with 1 swing, whereas Armstrong, it took him 4 or 5 runners to get around the bases to get 1 run. Hopkins does it with 1 swing.
Tommy Oth, the batter now, and he lifts one out to short left center field, and drifting over is the center fielder to make the grab there as Page gets to it. So Hopkins done on the first, but they do answer with that home run. 1 run, 1 hit, and no one left on base. After 1, we are tied at 1-1 here on CCX.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood, or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back here to Big Willow Park in Minnetonka as we get set for inning number 2 here. Pretty eventful start to this one. The numbers are the same on the board, but as Drew said, they're very different ways of scoring. Armstrong in the top of the first got a walk, hit by pitch, single, another hit by pitch to force in a run. And then meanwhile, one hard swing of the bat from Morgan Holmes tied it for Hopkins as he ripped a line drive homer over the left field fence.
Left fielder.
So Armstrong will have Jarrett Kuznia stepping in. Well, we were talking earlier about Chiriboga, the catcher, you know, getting a foul ball off his helmet. The other day, Kuznia got hit not once but twice in the helmet when he was batting against Southwest. So, you know, you like the helmets and the protection they're providing now, but you still have to wonder a little bit. He didn't appear to be phased at all, like it hurt him either time, but boy, it was, I had never seen that happen for, you know, twice in one game like that. And Kuznia down to short. Close play, and they just got him. And Off had a little bit of struggle to hang on the bag there as Shaw's throw almost pulled him off, and Kuznia was hustling hard. This ball really slowed down.
Yeah, that was a good strong throw over to first base. Barely got the out, but yeah, that grass seemed to eat that up, and took 2 or 3 hops instead of the one nice hop to the shortstop. But he still got up and over and got the ball up and over to first base, get the out.
Alex Proctor trying to bunt his way on, and he fouls that one off. 328 average for Proctor this year. He scored 16 runs, which is tops on their team. 426 on base percentage this year for the Falcons. So kind of guy you sort of like to have in that 9 spot who can, you know, function as an on-base leadoff type guy and handles the bat well too.
Yeah, it says a lot about the top of the order for Armstrong too. If you can get that bottom of the order on base, the top of the order comes through and gets the runners moving around the bases and scores runs.
Way up high and out of the zone there was Wallin. There's a strike. Coach Michalakis, you know, wasn't overly concerned that they struggled against Cooper. He said, you know, people were saying, you know, I can't believe that was that close and whatever. He said, that's baseball, and especially high school baseball. You know, Cooper did some good things, and they maybe didn't do things as well as they'd like. And the other thing about it, too, is this section, not to knock on anybody, but, I mean, these teams are 2-3 seeds, and they're right around 500. So neither one of them is unbeatable by any means. They're both capable of doing good things, but they've had their share of losses. Bouncer down to first, and Off handles that one. Proctor is out, 3 unassisted, 2 gone here in the second.
Yeah, Jay, that's what you see a lot of times in high school baseball is when you have a really good team. The Coon Rapids teams from a few years ago, Minnetonka had a few teams, and if you have 2 or 3 really great pitchers and a good batting order, you can have a dominant season and march on through the sections. But usually sections are pretty evenly matched, and there's maybe one team that has a dominant rotation. But often, like you were saying, you know, you have a lot of similar teams across the board from 2 to 6. And it comes down to 2 or 3 situations. And as we saw in the first inning, Armstrong had all those runners on base. They only came out with 1 run, whereas Hopkins, you know, tied the game up with 1 swing. So be interested to see how this game plays out. But it usually comes down to a couple situations within the game.
Taken for a strike. I think it's fair to say that Wayzata's, you know, definitely the favorite in this section. Number 1 seed. They were number 1 for a lot of the year, but they've had trouble scoring runs, and down the stretch, they've been taking a few losses along the way too. And so, you know, they're maybe not quite the team they were a year ago. Still, I think, absolutely the favorite. They beat Hopkins 3 times this year, but not unbeatable either. Pops this one up. And third baseman Wilson calling, makes the catch, and a 1-2-3 second inning work for Wallin, a much cleaner inning for the Royals. So we go to the bottom of the second inning, still tied up 1 apiece here on CCX Sports.
The color in my garden keeps the pink in my cheeks. I was very independent and thought I could take care of myself. I fell and I had to have Meals on Wheels. They're my savior. My name is Lola Silvestri. America, let's do lunch.
Drop off a hot meal and say hello. Volunteer by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
Welcome back here to Big Willow Park. Hopkins getting set to bat in the bottom of the second against Armstrong righty Mitchell Waletsky. It'll be Ben Willeen, Bobby Wilson, and Matt Shaw, the number 5, 6, 7 hitters. Here's a look at Hopkins. Didn't have, the greatest record in the league. Obviously, it's a tough league. And see what they're averaging per game this year. They were in a lot of games. And one of their wins in the league, though, was over Minnetonka, a team that's been a lot of the year ranked number 1 also. So, they were in a lot of those games, too. It doesn't mean that they didn't have, a pretty decent club.
Yeah, if you're playing good competition, 500 record at this point in the season is nothing to be too worried about, as long as you're playing good competition. Now, if you're playing in a weak conference and a weak schedule, 500 record would be a little concerning. But if you're playing, the Minnetonkas and Eden Prairies and Wayzatas, I mean, 3 of those losses were against one of the best teams in the state. So, seeing 6.5 runs per game is a pretty good sign, though.
Willeen fouls that one off his foot. He is hitting at .288 for the year, .373 on base average. 5 doubles to his credit. He scored 10 runs, driven in 9. A little bit strikeout prone, though. He struck out more than anyone else in the Royals lineup. Missed up high here. I always have the feeling that against the other team's pitcher, if they're in the batting lineup, you see the pitcher kind of, rear back extra hard. And I think Waletsky's overthrowing a little here. Pounded down to short. Reed up with it and throws him out. 1 gone here in the second, and Bobby Wilson will be the batter.
24, Bobby Wilson.
Nice job by the shortstop to stay down in that ball, come up clean, get a good strong throw over to first, and got the runner by a good couple steps to get that first out of the inning.
Bobby Wilson, a .296 average.
Yeah, well, Waletsky has a quick windup, so it's important for these batters to stay focused right away.
Looks at that one outside. Reaches out and slashes that one foul onto one of the other fields here at Big Willow. Ooh, got him to chase that one on a nice breaking ball. They'll have to throw to first base, and D does exactly that. So 2 gone here in the second, and Matt Shaw will be the hitter.
One of those underrated things that catchers can do is, block that ball. You don't have to come up clean and run it down to first base as fast as you can. Block the ball, take your time, take a good step and a good strong throw down to first base if you get that 3rd strike and you got to throw it down there.
Well, and really for the catcher, especially with the first baseman too, that one bounced foul, is you got to make sure you get that angle right so there's not an issue of throwing it next to or over the head of the runner and possibly giving your first baseman a tough catch.
Yeah, it's all about timing too. You got to make sure you're ahead of the runner and you're not, even if it's a close play, it's still going to be a tough play for the first baseman no matter what. But if you get it down there early, it gives the first baseman more chance to get positioned in a good spot.
Armstrong trying to ask if Shaw maybe swung on that last one, but they say no. That one is over for a strike. And that one drifts up high. Shaw hitting at .211, but he's been fairly productive with 8 runs scored, 7 driven in. Does have 1 home run to his credit as well. Waletsky seems to be having a little bit of trouble with his release point. I notice this mound seems possibly a bit higher than some that you might see. And a foul tip held onto by D, and Waletsky gets the strikeout here. So a 1-2-3 second for him as well. No runs, no hits, and no one left. We are evened up at 1 run apiece through a pair of innings here in the Section 6 4A tournament.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Boom. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Boom. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Boom.
Check it out, the hammocks in place there hanging from the scoreboard. We were watching them put those up before the game, and they came prepared, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're here to have a good time. Good for them. Perfect day for it.
There's a look at Armstrong's stats for the year. They were supposed to play the top seed Wayzata earlier, but just didn't get a chance to make that one up. You see they have done well, pretty well offensively, giving up a little more than that. They've been just a little bit inconsistent. You know, we did a game a couple weeks ago where they looked real good against Osseo, and I asked Coach Sobiak that day, and you know, how have things been, and he kind of said, you know, sometimes we hit good, sometimes we pitch good, sometimes we play defense well, but just not seemingly all on the same day as often as they need to. You know, he said on our good days we've looked quite good, and then other times it's been you know, a little bit more of a struggle, and that's the case for a lot of teams too. You're not alone in that, but still sometimes you feel frustrated when you're not maybe seeing the consistency that you want.
Yeah, that's a tough thing about baseball here in Minnesota is it's such a quick season. It takes you a few weeks to get it figured out, and by that time you're 6-7 games into the season, and you might be 2-6 or so, and you still haven't figured out what your best lineup is. But at this point in the season, you got your A teams out there, and you're ready to position yourself for a good run at state tournament.
I think it really helped Armstrong's program too to have a couple of those state tournament appearances recently. There, you know, it just kind of brings a little bit more of a belief that we can win a section title, and we are as good as some of these other teams around. You know, I don't think it's exactly a secret that Armstrong sports aren't as strong as they maybe were 10, 15 years ago overall across the board. But so that's been part of what Coach Sobiak and his staff have wanted to do, is really put that belief in them that they can compete with anyone. Gray, a high chopper that'll be foul.
Yeah, there's nothing, nothing to say that a team from Armstrong can't make the state. And like you said, the past couple of years to see a team from Armstrong, not the flashiest of teams, no big Major League Baseball team names that have been in the program, but you know, they have a solid coach. They have a coach that's been there a while. He's shown commitment and has a philosophy, and these kids seem to believe in it, and they have fun.
Gray asks for time here before Moline went into his motion. Thought about it, but lays off it. That was a nice breaking ball from Moline. Probably one of his best of the game.
Yeah, that was a good eye. Nice job to check the swing there.
Fouls that one into the screen. We were kind of talking before the game that, I mean, don't get me wrong, the nice weather is very welcome, but I think it's probably one of the warmest days that these guys have played in yet, and sometimes that takes a little bit of a toll on you. You're not used to sweating this much during the game. Down to second, and a nice pickup there, and flip over to first base in time. Morgan Holmes trying to shuffle over, and he almost got a little bit of an in-between hop, it looked like, but he stayed with it.
Yeah, it was a nice job to get that glove all the way down as he's moving to his left, and then keep his feet steady and get a good throw over to first base to get the out.
Preston Reed, the batter here for Armstrong, was hit by a pitch his first time up. Takes a breaking ball low and in, ball one. And a hard liner just fouled on the third baseline. Really jumped on that one pretty nicely, but not able to keep it fair.
Yeah, just foul. That would have been extra bases had that stayed inside the base pad there.
And gets him to pop it up near the backstop. And a good effort. Chiraboga not quite able to get it.
Great effort. Great effort. That ball was right up against the fence, and he just about came up with it. I'm surprised it didn't hit the netting up there.
Well, that's what I was thinking too. It was going to be the umpire has to really keep a close eye on, whether the ball nicked the netting or not, because obviously if it did, it's no longer a valid catch.
Yep. Yeah, good effort.
And a pop-up, drifting back and making the grab there, shortstop Matt Shaw. So 2 gone. And Dawson D will be the hitter. Interesting, both pitchers, early on you might have thought they were going to have a little bit of a struggle possibly, and now they've settled in and are just kind of racking up outs.
Yeah, I think the first inning jitters were apparent on definitely on the Hopkins side, but both pitchers definitely have seemed to settle down and get into a groove and at least throw strikes. Let the batters hit the ball at least.
Yeah, I think, jitters and also maybe just being a little bit too pumped up for your start sometimes can be the case too. He fouls it back. He had a single to left field into his first at bat. He might have driven in a run with that hit if the situation were different, but there was less than 2 outs and it was a soft liner that looked like maybe it would be caught. So the runner who was on second, had to hold up and really no chance to score on it.
Yeah, he went down and got it and put it out in the left field right between the third baseman and shortstop. Nothing too powerful, but definitely a good swing to get that run across the board.
And a breaking ball there that thumps him. And Wallin, I think, is feeling that maybe D stepped into that ball a little bit. That's not going to be the case apparently, though. And they will run for him at first with Ulysses Ponce.
Yeah, there's a little bit of frustration that the batter may have been able to get out of the way, but you can't assume the batter is going to know that's a breaking ball that's that far inside. If the batter doesn't move his feet and you hit him, he has the right to be there in the batter's box and hit him pretty square in the back, so he runs down to first base.
Well, that's a common misperception that a lot of fans think that you're required to attempt to get out of the way of the ball, and you're really not. You can't lean into it. You can, put your body in the way on purpose. But if it's coming right at you and you're willing to stand there and take it, you are not required to vacate the batter's box.
Yeah, you see a lot in college softball and college baseball where the batters just sit there and they spin and they're almost professionals at taking a pitch. And a lot of times they get called back. I actually saw a coach get kicked out of the game just yesterday because of that.
Runner is going. Here's the throw down. Not going to be in time. Ponce got a good jump. Chiraboga, not much chance to throw him out there. It was an okay throw, but not nearly in time.
Hey, good job, good hustle. Get down to second base with ease and get into scoring position here now with 2 outs. You're running on anything, and base knock should bring in that run.
Waletsky trying to help his own cause here. Fouls this one back and out of play. It isn't the first thing you think about when you're talking about a baseball team, but boy, it can be very valuable to have guys on your bench as courtesy runners or pinch runners that have really good speed. And it may be that they're not, they don't even have to be great baseball players if they learn how to run the bases and are quick. And a foul tip held onto, so Waletsky strikes out. Wallin coming back and gets out of the inning. No runs, no hits, and 1 left on base here. So we go to the bottom of the third. It is still a 1-1 ball game.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally.
Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
Number 7.
Wyatt Nelson will step up to lead it off here for Hopkins in the bottom of the third. The 8, 9, and 1 hitters coming to the plate for the Royals as they try and break this 1-1 tie. Wyatt hitting at 196 on the year, has scored 15 runs, and has also walked 8 times. And jumps on this first pitch, driving it out to left field, and it's over his head. It'll be at least 2 for Nelson. Nelson sprinting into second base with a leadoff double. Don't think it was especially well read by Pertula there. I don't know that he necessarily would have had a chance at it anyway, but he definitely got fooled a little bit.
Yeah, he definitely got spun around. I think that spin cost him dearly because he just missed catching that ball in that jump. But great first pitch, jumping on that first pitch to get a leadoff double.
So Joey Swanson will step in. Squaring takes a strike. They're going to throw behind the runner and safely back in. The throw is a little bit to the first base side. If that ball is perfectly on the money, I think there's a reasonable chance they get Nelson there, but hacked at a high fastball and fouls it away. I have to confess, on that ball that Nelson hit too, I didn't think it was going quite as far as it did either.
Yeah, it didn't sound clean. It didn't have that pop. It kind of sounded dead, but he got it good enough, and not a good first step by the left fielder.
Puts the ball in play. Waletsky knocks it down. The runner will advance. They get the out at first base, as Swanson just trying to do what he could to put that ball in play. It kind of handcuffed Waletsky here, and then he looked like he was a little bit flustered, but still able to get the out.
Yeah, I think Waletsky's initial thought was let's get that runner over at third to get him out of trouble, but good job, keeping composure. He didn't come up with it clean, but he did come up with it clean enough to get the out at first base.
Luke Poliak is the batter, and he slashes one into center field, and that'll score a run. Hopkins takes a 2-1 lead. They have started to figure Waletsky out maybe a little bit here as Poliak rips a solid single, and Nelson trots home from third. The Royals take a 2-1 lead, and Kyle Chiriboga will be the batter.
Nice swing there to line drive up center, up the center of the field, and to get that RBI.
Chiriboga bounced out to second base his first time up. Runner is going. Pitch is high and tight. D's throw down is in time. Kind of an unusual one in that Goldman, the second baseman, was up a little bit in front of the bag, but he slapped the tag on his back.
I think the second baseman was just kind of blocking the baseline and didn't know where the runner didn't know where to slide. Good solid throw down there, though, that cost that.
And I think Coach Mikalakis is going to ask the same thing. Was there perhaps any interference in that situation?
It's going to be a tough call. I mean, obviously there's not going to be a replay, but the fielder caught the ball right in the baseline and obstructed the runner's path to the second base. But I think he was going for the ball, so I think that's legal. Let's see what the decision here is. It's very hard to overturn a call in high school baseball. But it's also an opportunity for the coach to just, say, hey, yeah, I think you owe us one there, and you got a few innings left in the game, and not that he's going to change his mind, but he wants to make sure that he's aware that he feels like he doesn't agree with the play or the call.
I think it's something that it also kind of gives your players the feeling that you have their back a little bit too if you argue for them on a play like that. So now 2 outs, nobody on, and for Chiriboga, and slashes that one foul and out of play down the first base side. Up high with that fastball, kind of changes the complexion of that inning. It seemed like Hopkins had everything going for them, and if he either makes it safely there or an interference call is made, they're certainly in a better spot than what they're at right now.
Yeah, well, he's in a much better position than he would have been with that runner on second base. Now with 2 outs instead of a runner on first after giving up that double. Runner on second, actually. Now he has the bases empty and has a chance to get out of the inning here.
And lost him. Chiriboga will draw the walk here. Royals trying to restart a rally.
Second baseman.
Morgan Holmes will be the hitter. Going to see a runner for Hopkins. Martin De La Paz will run as a courtesy runner.
See how Woletsky approaches this at bat with Holmes, runner on first. He has nowhere to put the batter, but Holmes had a strong at bat the first inning and line drive over the fence. And first pitch, see what he does here in this first pitch.
I'm thinking not belt-high fastball. That'll be the,
yeah, Woletsky's been throwing the fastball pretty well, but I think you might want to stay low and outside, if not a breaking ball. And don't want to overthink it, though.
Toss to first base.
Umpire's just letting Woletsky know the time was called. There's no reason to throw it to first because time was called. Respecting Holmes. Always good to see players out there having a smile.
And this one hits Holmes, so he will be aboard here.
Well, he came inside. He came in just a little bit too far inside, but definitely wasn't over the plate.
Yeah, I think you saw Holmes get a real comfortable swing the first time, and you want to move him back, but obviously hitting him doesn't help your cause in this inning by any means, so don't think it was probably intentional to throw at him by any stretch. At least we would hope not. Tommy Oth will be the batter here. He flied to center field his first time up. Lifts this one up to right field. High fly ball, and Proctor able to camp underneath it and get the out, so Oth flies out. Hopkins in the third, though. They get one run on a couple of base hits, and they leave a couple on base here, so we've played 3 full here. The Royals now leading it by a score of 2-1 as we take a look at how things shake out here. Wayzata is the top seed and playing against Washburn same time as this one, and then these two teams, the winners bracket games, and the winners go on to play on Tuesday on the high seed of the home field. And then the bottom part, the teams that have already taken a loss, South and St. Louis Park playing as are Cooper and Southwest, and then the loser of this game and the loser of the Wayzata Washburn game then would be put into the to face the winners of those 2 contests. So the longer you can stay where you want to be, the better you're going to be pitching wise. I was thinking about this. We did a softball game yesterday, and I think it matters a lot more in baseball to stay in the winners bracket probably than it does in softball, because softball you're pretty much often going to ride the same one pitcher anyway, but in baseball it can make a real big difference. If you've got the guy you want lined up and he's rested and ready to go, it's a whole lot of difference than if you're having to kind of patch things together.
Definitely with innings and pitch counts, it's something that coaches always have to keep an eye on and be careful about. But a win's a win in section playoff baseball, but an 18-0 win by Wayzata is a really good sign for them. They gave him an opportunity to get the bats going. Everybody got a few hits there. A few runs here, a few runs there. Feeling comfortable moving into the section semis if they get a chance to advance. So, whereas on the other hand, Hopkins, Hopkins had a squeaker with Cooper, and they had to stress that one out a little bit and get some extra arms going, and maybe it's a good chance for them to focus in and get a one-run victory. But I would feel much more comfortable with an 18-0 victory in the first round than a 3-2. A win is a win.
Yeah, and I was thinking that a little bit at the Armstrong game too, though. I think there can be a danger of it if it comes too easy. You just start to, you relax and you think, you can get away with doing things not so well in that first round too. But and their coaches were talking to them about that. We still want good at bats from you. Okay, it's 10-0 or whatever, but that doesn't mean you go up there and just kind of freelance. You still need to do the right things.
Yeah, you can always tell the story one way or the other. You hear it, especially in professional sports. In the NBA playoffs, you know, Golden State Warriors are going to have 10 days off before they play the Cavaliers, and are they going to be tired? And you know, it's especially at this level. They're young, they're energetic, they have a lot of energy. I don't think the rest are too much activity in 1 week is going to drain them. But pitches and innings limits is something to keep an eye on.
That's a fair ball. Pertola is going to dig for 2. There might be a play, but the throw is too high. They had a decent shot at making that a close play. I was a little surprised Pertola was taking that extra base, but he will get it done because the throw in is up high. So a double to lead it off for Nate Pertola.
Yeah, good ground ball down the third baseline. He was going to second right away, and I think he knew the left fielder was far off the line, and he had a good chance to get down to second before the throw got in there.
Mike O'Malley will be the hitter. He flied to left field his first time up, so Armstrong trying to answer that run that Hopkins scored in the bottom of the third. Takes a first pitch strike.
I would expect Armstrong to play that small ball. Now you're going to do anything you can to get that runner on the third. Now with a strike, it'll be interesting to see if they keep the sacrifice play on.
O'Malley requesting time here.
You know, the later you get into these games, the more cat and mouse you see between these two teams as the little things start to add up. I think they're going to just talk through, hey, if time's called, make sure you don't put yourself in a position to still commit a balk, or be sure what's going on with the umpire. I'll tell you if there's time called, and make sure we're on the same page. Last thing you want to do is give up a balk and get that runner on the third with nobody out.
O'Malley not squaring, and he fouls it away. So now he's quickly down in the count 0-2 here.
Now you're not too worried about position of the ball when you hit it. You just want to put the bat on the ball. You don't want to strike out. You want to put the ball in play no matter what.
Inside with that one, and it's 1-2.
You got a little lucky with that one. Catcher was looking for it up in the zone, kind of have a burner with the 0-2 count, and see if you can get him to chase that high fastball. But that one was belt high, right just in the inside corner of the plate.
And there's a called third strike. That one was just a little bit better than the previous one, and O'Malley is caught looking for out number 1, so unable to get that runner over, and Jarek Kuznia will hit now for the Falcons.
Yeah, good pitch. You're not going to be able to hit that, and if you do, you're not going to be able to do much with it, but if they take it, they're going to be a called third strike.
The other part of that, too, is when you're working the inside part like that, if he puts it in play, he might hit it over toward third, which is going to make it tougher for that runner to advance as well. Kuznia squares and bunts it way up into the screen.
Not too surprised by that. You know, Armstrong does things to keep you on your toes, and you wouldn't expect that with one out, but that's kind of what you want to do as a ball club, is keep the other team on their toes and not let them know what you're doing.
Kuznia grounded to short on a close play his first time through in the second. There's a strike.
Good pitch down in the zone off the plate, right up the corner.
Missed inside with that one. 1-2 count here to Kuznia. And up high out of the zone. He had a thought about trying to take a cut at that one, but laid off.
Those pitches are hard to lay off, but that was a little too high to make him swing at it.
And a called third strike comes back down around the knees, and back-to-back third strikes taken by Armstrong here, and Alex Proctor will be the hitter.
You know, Jay, earlier in the game we were talking about how Wallin was having problems finding the zone. His pitches weren't really close. What he's showing here is that his pitches that he's missing on aren't missing by much, and he's having accuracy. And so those pitches that are closer to the plate, he's getting called strikes now.
Proctor goes after a high one and drives it up in the air to center field. Another very high fly ball. Joey Swanson camps underneath it, so the leadoff double does not pan out for Armstrong. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left aboard. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Hopkins leading it 2-1.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat?
1 in 5 children struggles with hunger in America. Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood? Or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. You can learn about the latest news through our truly local newscast. We cover and air around 150 high school sporting events every year.
Down to the bottom of the 4th, Ben Wallin will step in here for the Royals to lead things off. He's 0 for 1, a grounder to short his first time up. Royals had a couple of hard hit balls last inning, resulted in 1 run as Wyatt Nelson led off with a double, and then Luke Boyack singled him in. And that gives the Royals this 1-run lead here as we go to the 4th.
Yeah, pretty quickly paced game. Of course, I'm not supposed to say that, but you know, it's going well. It's nice out, so if it does go a little long, I'm okay with that. But Waletsky, he's quick on the mound. Both pitchers are getting right up on the mound and throwing strikes.
And a swing and a miss here by Wallin, not able to hold up on that one. So a 2-2 count, and he froze him with a breaking ball there. Waletsky gets the strikeout, his 4th of the game, and Bobby Wilson will be the hitter.
You don't see a lot of those up and in breaking balls, but that was a good pitch by Waletsky. Whatever you can do to get that out.
I'm not sure if that's exactly where he wanted it, but it definitely fooled Wallin, and that was the big part. You could see it just kind of locked him up. You see, even major league hitters, a lot of times are kind of anticipating what they're going to see, and sometimes they'll get frozen. There's a well-hit ball out to right center field. A long run, a diving try, and he can't get it. Wilson's going to go for 3rd. And he will be in with a diving triple. Bobby Wilson hacking that one a long way to the opposite field. Proctor made a good effort, and it looked like he might possibly snag that one with the dive, but couldn't get it.
He just missed that. Eddie had 1 extra step on that ball. He probably would have got that out. But great hustle from out of the box to get over to 3rd base. Good solid swing to right center field. Now Royals have a chance to add a run to their 2-1 lead here. 1-run lead, 2-1 game.
Matt Shaw, the hitter. Ooh, and D has to block one that was well short of the plate there.
Great stop by catcher there to keep that runner at 3rd.
Shaw was a strikeout victim his first time up. Hits the ball hard, but foul past 3rd. Armstrong has got the infield part way up, but not all the way up in the middle.
Yeah, they're not on the grass. They're about even with the bases.
think they still feel that they're in a position where they, you know, a ball hit at them, they could come home with it from any of those 4 spots.
D is earning his varsity letter here. He's keeping that runner at third base. A couple of great stops.
Yeah, those were not just run-of-the-mill low pitches either. They were tough ones. Foul back here by Shaw.
Catcher, one of the most underrated positions in the ballgame.
Low and away, and he will lose him. Shaw walks, so runners at first and third. Yeah, you're right. And they, besides just the plays that you really notice, just the way that they handle a pitcher and make them, you know, make their confidence level rise. We're gonna have a time called here, and Brian Sobiek's gonna come out to talk to Wiletsky here. Don't know if he's thinking about removing him or if this could be a little bit of a, also a talk about, you know, first and third situation here.
Yeah, I think you always, it doesn't hurt. You know, you want to make sure everybody's on the same page. Hopkins is going to do anything they can to get that run across the board. So you want to make sure if a runner does the old trip play down to second, you're not caught off guard. You can make sure that you execute and do the things that you practiced all season long for this type of situation. You're down 1, you don't want to be down 2 at the end of this inning, so you want to make sure you don't put yourself in a bad position. And be aware if you have a chance to turn the double play, turn the double play, but if you want to keep that runner at third, keep the runner at third.
Wiletsky will stay on the mound. I don't think it's been his sharpest performance. He's been solid at times, but I don't think he's hit his spots as much as he would like. Give the Royals credit for some hard hit balls of late too here. Obviously the homer by Holmes was the big shot in the first inning, but also this guy who's up right now, Wyatt Nelson, doubled over the left fielder's head last inning, and Wilson tripled the right field earlier this inning. Nothing doing on the bases, and the pitch taken for a ball. That breaking ball is over for a strike. And fooled by that one, hit it off the end of the bat.
Yeah, it seemed to even take a little bit off that breaking ball. He was way ahead of it and just barely caught the nub of the bat.
1-2 count. Comes back fastball, and Nelson fights it off.
Good piece of hitting there by Nelson. He wasn't. It wasn't the pitch that he was expecting, but he knew it was probably going to be a strike if he didn't swing, so he stays alive.
Runner from first is going. It's popped up. Wiletsky, the pitcher, is going to catch it. He might have a chance for a double play. Oh, and he sails it way over his head, and a run will score. Throw into second, not in time. And so Wilson comes in. Nelson will pop out, but then an E1.
Center fielder, number 11.
Yeah, Wiletsky was so excited to try and get a double play here that he rushed it and threw it way over first base.
Yeah, Wiletsky was well aware of the situation, knew that when he caught that ball, if he gets that out over at first, he gets out of the inning. But he throws it, sails it over the first baseman's head and allows that runner from third to come in.
Joey Swanson will bat now for Hopkins, and Sobiek coming out, and I don't know what this question would have been about here really. Oh, I think he might be asking, did he for sure tag at first base? Because he still does need to. The ball was caught on a pop out, and the throw to first, he still needs to tag up, and that was the question. They appealed to first base, and umpires said he was good. It was safe.
Well, and to coach's point, it doesn't hurt to ask, because you know, you may not have seen it. You probably did see it, but you got to keep an eye on that stuff. And if he does call the out, it saves him a run.
Wild pitch will move Shaw over to third, and it was an unusual play. And I'd be honest, I didn't really think about that as you know, what he would have been asking about at first, but that was indeed the case, because the runner. It would be kind of natural to, if you see the ball go over their head, to not really worry about touching first again, but you do have to.
And you also want to get up as quick as you can, and if you didn't hit the base, you're still going to be focused on getting down to second. It's worth a check with the umpiring crew to make sure that the runner did tag first, and apparently he did, so that run scores.
So it went from really good news for Armstrong getting that pop out to, you know, potential double play, and then things got away a little bit. The throw was too high, then a wild pitch. But Waletsky still does have 2 outs here, so you got to concentrate on trying to get this batter, see if he can't get out of trouble. And that one missed, and D is going to come out and have a quick conversation. I'm not sure if perhaps he was crossed up on that and they weren't on the same page. You kind of get the sense that Waletsky's a little bit frustrated right now.
He seems to be a player who has a lot of energy, and you want to keep him within. You want to keep him calmed down and focused. He seems to have a lot of fun out there, but he also seems like he can get frustrated. And D probably just went out there to make sure that he's okay, and remind him, hey, throw strikes. You can rely on your defense here and get the outs.
Joey Swanson draws a walk, so again runners at the corners now for the Royals, and Luke Polyak will be the batter. He singled in a run in the 3rd. D going over defensive signals. Now it's a little bit of a different spot with 2 outs as compared to before with 1. If that runner from first goes and Armstrong thinks they can get him, they're going to go full bore to get that out, and then the runner at 3rd doesn't matter if you get that guy. Pitch in the dirt. He's going to throw behind the runner at first, and safely back in is Swanson.
Good strong throw there by D down to first base. Doesn't give the third base runner a chance to even toy with the idea of coming back down to the plate.
There's a strike. It's so interesting we bounce back and forth from covering baseball and softball, and obviously it's a totally different thing with the much shorter bases in fast pitch. Knocked down to second. Goldman will make the throw to first base, and they get out of it, but the Royals increase the lead as they get 1 run. On 1 base hit, there was 1 error committed by Armstrong and a couple left aboard. Through 4 full innings, it's 3-1 Royals. Armstrong will have the top of the order coming up as they try and battle back from this 3-1 deficit here against Hopkins. Eric Goldman, Braden Gray, Preston Reed will hit in the top half of the 5th. Section 6 4A baseball, 2nd round game here at Big Willow Park in Minnetonka. Along with Drew Keogh, I'm Jay Wilcox, and great afternoon for these 2 teams. The wind seems to have kicked up a little bit here. We were talking earlier about, there might be, they were mentioning possibility of something blowing through at some point today in the Twin Cities, but at least for now we seem safe.
Yeah, I think we're okay. Perfect day at Big Willow, and you mentioned they decided to have their games here this spring, and they have a pretty good crowd. And I played a few games over at high school and a few games over here at Big Willow myself, and this is just a better setting, easier to park, easier access. Better field, better surroundings. You can hang the hammock on the scoreboards.
Yeah, that's a key point.
I had one of our biggest softball followers ask me why our talented softball team over the years didn't have such success in high school, and I think it's because we played at the high school, not at Big Willow as much.
Eric Goldman takes a first pitch strike here from Wallin. Goldman 0 for 2. He's hit the ball, the third baseman both times, a slow roller and then a pop-up. And there's a breaking ball for a strike. Wallin, boy, if you watch that first inning, I don't think you would like the odds that Wallin would be in such command as he is right now, but he's just really settled in. And a little soft pop-up. Oh, collision time. It looks like they held on to the ball, but Holmes and Oth colliding. We could see that one coming. It was not a high enough ball that you really had time to make a big loud call, and they both run into each other, so a little bit of a scary moment there.
Yeah, hopefully everybody's okay, but that was a soft pop-up in between shortstop or first base and second base, and I think the second baseman hadn't lined up, but the first baseman had a beat on it from the start.
Looked like Oth took the worst of that one as Holmes is back up, and Oth is...
I think he caught it right in the thigh. Upper thigh is probably going to be a little bruised from a knee there.
Boy, and you're just concentrating so hard on the ball that it just kind of comes as a shock when you run into something solid like another person, like that.
The other thing with that one is it's not like a normal fly ball where it takes 10 to 12 seconds for it to go from bat to the glove. That was a quick, that was a couple seconds from the bat to the catch.
Yeah, on a higher pop-up, that's when you maybe get on your guys a little bit about you need to communicate better. But on one like that, there just isn't time. You just react and go for it.
And really, to Off's credit, that's pretty decent range for a first baseman to get all the way over there to get that ball.
So, and I guess the health concern is first and foremost, but he did hang on to the ball too, which made it even better for Hopkins. He's okay, and he made the catch.
Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe he's not okay.
His arm seems to be hurt.
I don't think he's going to stay in, and I think it might be a shoulder, yeah.
Now batting, third baseman.
Looks like they're going to bring in Isaac Eng, who would appear to be about 8 feet tall as he comes across the field there.
Aaron Judge size out there. And
playing first baseman for the Royals, number 44. Isaac Eng.
I like the honesty of Oth there. Obviously you want to stay in the game and you want to be tough and everything. But I think if you're feeling that maybe I can't play the game and field the position the right way, that I need to tell my coaches that, and that's what we're seeing right there. So we hope he's all right. It was a nice play, and again, just one of those things. It's a ball that's tough to really call off a teammate on because you're both going for a little low spinner.
Yeah, you don't want to see a player be selfish and keep themselves in the game because they just want to play. It's important for him to be honest about his ability to play, and he doesn't want to put his team at risk of, he's going to be the one getting most of the balls over there, and if he can't be mobile and agile, it's going to cost his team in the end.
I was really thinking a lot about that watching the Game 7 with Ottawa-Pittsburgh in the Stanley Cup playoffs, where you could see some guys that just wanted badly to stay in there, but they were hurting. And, at what point do you say, I'm probably not helping the team as much as this?
In that first overtime, they were breathing so hard, but their shifts, I heard him say, their shifts got reduced to about 15 to 20 seconds. But you're going through 3 or 4 lines, and every minute and a half, and you don't get many TV timeouts in overtime in hockey. So they're just playing a lot of hockey in overtime, and you got to keep those skaters in the ice.
So Braden Gray will try and get things started with one out here. Kind of a long start to the inning because of the injury to Oth there. And that one taken for a ball. Speaking of hockey, Gray, pretty good hockey player for the Armstrong Cooper program.
He's got that hockey hair going still.
Yeah, that one hits the plate and bounces way up. No harm done, though, obviously, with nobody on base there, but...
Yeah, it's getting down to crunch time for Armstrong here. You want to do anything you can to get runners on base and try and make things happen like you did in the first inning. But as we said, Wallin was able to bear down and get out of that bases-loaded jam by only giving up 1 run.
That was a 75th pitch thrown by Wallin, so he will walk Gray here. 1 out walk, and now Preston Reed will be the batter. Wallin, still could be within range to finish this game, but he would need to have, some more crisp innings down. He might approach that pitch limit if he continues to have a few long innings here. Reed was hit by a pitch and then popped out. And that one's in the dirt. Armstrong has some activity in their bullpen. And that one way short. Chiriboga will throw to first and did not quite get him. Ang slapping the tag on Gray. When he saw that ball hit the dirt, he was out there a ways and thought, uh-oh, he could be in trouble here.
That was some aggressive base running, but hey, he's seen Willeen throw a few balls in the dirt when he was at the plate, and that ball was definitely short hopped, and he was trying to do anything he can to advance, but decided to make the right decision and got back to first just in time.
There you see down the way the Armstrong bullpen. I can tell you it's a righty, but that's about all I can see now. I believe it's Blake Williams throwing down there for the Falcons. He came on and pitched a little bit against Southwest in that first round game. In some ways, it feels like Armstrong maybe is behind more than this, but really they're still right there at 3-1.
Yeah, this is a good spot for them. They're heart of their order up, and
the pitch will get away. Gray will advance. Both catchers have had, quite a bit of work back there and blocking pitches and whatnot, and one finally got by Chiriboga, just like last inning when one finally snuck by D.
And just after that pitch approached the backstop, you saw the Hopkins coaches say speed it up down there in the bullpen. Willeen's had about 4 or 5 out of the past 6 or 7 balls in the dirt. When Gray was at bat, it didn't matter because there was nobody on base, but now with the runner on base, you're putting yourself at risk here.
There's a strike. It almost seemed like maybe that pause for Off's injury might have taken Willeen a little bit out of his rhythm.
Yeah, he was in a pretty good groove there, and then after that injury, he had a few balls not even close in the zone. One hit the front of the plate, one was quite a bit shorter than the plate, and now he seemed to take a little bit off that last pitch just to get a strike.
And he loses Reed. He will walk. So first and second one out, and we might see the end of the line here for Willeen. He's shaking his head at his coach saying, no, no, no. Dawson D will be the batter.
We talked earlier in the game that usually at this point in the season it comes down to a couple situations, and we saw Armstrong not really capitalize on that first inning with the bases loaded. They came out of it with just the 1 run. I think they're kind of in that same position here with the heart of their order up and 2 runners on. They have a chance to inch closer, if not tie the game this inning. We'll see what happens.
He is going to stick with Willeen right here. But I suspect the leash isn't going to stay super long if he has a little more trouble with the next couple of hitters. I think Waletzky's in the same boat on the other side, where he's, they're not going to wait long if he runs into some trouble. Looks at the ball a little bit low there, 1-0.
Good pitch, a little below the knees. Didn't get the call he wanted, but still close to the zone, keeping that batter honest.
D jumps on this one. It's a fair ball. Runner being sent to the plate, and Gray is going to score, and it's a 3-2 ball game. Dawson D coming through with a solid single for the Falcons.
I think that'll be the end of it for Willeen here. Good solid contact down the third baseline. Runner easy. You got to run no matter what on that, as long as it's on the ground. And good play by Hopkins to keep that runner at second, not let them advance even any further. But good solid outing by Willeen here. Got into a couple jams, and he leaves the game with the lead, but a couple runners that he's responsible for.
So Hopkins will go to the bullpen here, and new pitcher is going to be Eric Plant. as he will try and shut down this Falcons rally. They've pulled to within 3-2. Take a break here as Plymouth gets set to warm up, and we'll come back with more baseball here in the Section 6 4A tournament on CCX Sports.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back here as Eric Plymouth finishing up his warm-up tosses. He is making his 8th appearance of the year for the Royals, and all but one of them in relief. 1-1 record, 2.71 earned run average. He has 1 save to his credit, so he's only pitched 10 in the 3rd innings in those 7 previous appearances. So obviously been mainly a relief specialist here. Mitch Wiletsky will step up. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Armstrong has scored 1 here in the 5th to pull within 3-2.
Pretty big spot to come in as a relief pitcher. See how he fares with a couple runners on and a 1-run lead here.
Starts him with a strike.
Big confidence booster as a relief pitcher to come in the middle of the game and get that first strike.
And strike 2.
Yeah, nothing overpowering, but throwing strikes is better than throwing balls.
Wiletsky will have to try and put it in play here. Looks like Plant and Chiraboga not on the same page here on the sign, so and just stop and start over here. Laid off that one, 1-2.
Good pitch, had a pitch to waste, and tried something off the corner of the plate and didn't give him the bite.
On the ground towards second. They get the out at second. It's safe at first base, so there'll be runners at the corners here for the Falcons as the courtesy runner Ponce was forced out there on a fairly close play. I was a little bit surprised they didn't go to first with this ball, but Holmes feeling confident he still had time to get it done.
Yeah, good fundamental baseball there. Came up with a clean and good spin over to second base. Ball just wasn't hit hard enough to give him a chance to get that second out over at first base.
So Nate Pertla will be the batter here for Armstrong. Courtesy runner on at first base. I believe it's McGrath for the Falcons to see if they might send him and see if they can draw a throw and bring that tying run home. Pertla fouls it back. He had a double last time up.
Interesting is if they see they do put the runner in motion, you don't want to get that third out and run yourself out of a scoring opportunity. But
runner is going, and a fake throw. Chiraboga will hang on to it, so now runners at second and third for Armstrong.
Like you said earlier in the game, those courtesy runners is there can be a bit of strategy involved with having those runners on your roster, especially at this time of the season, with courtesy runners for the pitcher and catcher anytime throughout the game. Now you got 2 runners and a chance a base hit puts them up in the game.
And a breaking ball for a strike. Quant trying to work out of trouble here. And a little pop foul out of play.
Stays alive, stays alive. Look for something to drive is what coach is telling him, but hasn't had too many opportunities in this bet.
And a called third strike. He was not looking fastball, and it was right over the plate. So Perdola strikes out. Armstrong does get a little closer as they make it a 3-2 game. 1 run on 1 base hit, and they strand a couple. To the bottom of the 5th we go here at Big Willow. It's 3-2 Hopkins.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
They said a bottle was just a bottle. That no one would ever notice me. But I knew I could be more. That one day, I would make people smile.
Kyle Chiriboga getting set to lead off the bottom of the 5th inning for Hopkins. Waletsky is still on the mound for Armstrong. 3-2 ball game. And fouled out of play down the first base side here by Chiriboga, who was grounded out and walked in his first 2 times through.
Yeah, Waletsky having a solid outing. He's gotten himself into a little bit of a jam, and then that one overthrow last inning cost him. But he seems pretty confident and has been in the groove for much of the game, but has had a couple rough spots.
I think there's activity in the Hopkins bullpen. The umpire said we need somebody out there to kind of back things up so balls don't get loose in the field of play. There's not actual bullpens here, just room to throw a little bit.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure you're protecting the back of the catcher, which is not something the catcher would be able to do because they're focused on warming up the relief pitcher.
Time was called before the pitch. We talked about earlier, I was expecting a little bit more of this from Hopkins because Waletsky really likes to just get the ball and throw. Lead off that tough breaking ball there. Waletsky at 68 pitches, and that one is fouled away. And did he go around? No. D was hoping to get that one, and
yeah, you do anything you can as a catcher to try and sell that, but he did not go around. You also want to make sure you're not showing up the umpire, so you gotta be careful.
And that one is down low, and Chiriboga will work out a walk here to lead off the 5th for Hopkins. Going to see the courtesy runner, Martin De La Paz will run for him. And Morgan Holmes is the batter for Hopkins. He stroked a home run his first time up and then was hit by a pitch second time around.
Yeah, he hasn't seen many pitches this afternoon. His first at bat, I think it was a first pitch swing and ended up going over the fence. I think he got hit on the first or second pitch last at bat, so he's looking for some pitches to get comfortable up there. But He's 2 for 2 for getting on base, and that's what you want to do.
Popped it up. D drifting back. Kuznia over for a look as well, and neither one's going to get it.
That's a tough play. Tough play. Holmes just missed that, too. He just missed squaring that up. And that ball inching close to the dugout there. And they got a gate on the front, but there's also a gap on the side for the batters and the fielders to come out. That landed right in front there.
I don't think Kuznia could see the ball very well. He was looking into the sun. It's, in theory, an easier play for the first baseman, but it was actually D who got over there quicker. I never got the feeling that Kuznia really could see the ball, because he got near it, but never really reached for it.
Yeah, I don't think he saw it right away, and it wasn't too high up in the air, so he didn't have too much time to get over there. And it is a much easier play for the first baseman, but he did get over there and had a better chance to get the ball, but they all came together, and by the time they realized what was going on, the ball had hit the ground.
Holmes, a short fly to center, and Reed cannot get it. It'll be a base hit.
Whatever you can do, put that ball in play right off the end of the bat. Short pop up in between the shortstop and center fielder, and good job by the runner to watch that ball closely and hustle down to second base so he doesn't get force out.
Isaac Eng will be the batter as he came in to replace Oth at first base earlier, and he's had just a couple at bats this year, 0 for 2.
Does it say 8 feet tall? Is that right?
No.
Yeah, he's a tall batter up there.
Yeah. Squaring around, and now a throw down to second, and he's out. Drifting too far off the bag that time was De La Paz, and D comes up throwing and guns him down.
That's the last thing you want to see your pinch runner do, your courtesy runner. You know you have speed out there. You most likely have speed in your pinch runners, your courtesy runner, but to get him caught off, especially throwing behind at second base, is a no-no.
It's the first out, but it kind of changes the complexion a little bit here of this at-bat. Obviously, you know, we were thinking when Oth came out that, well, if he needed to re-enter, that is an option in high school ball. But this tells me that he's not feeling good enough to swing the bat right now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have your cleanup hitter in there at this point in the game, but you know, a shoulder's a big part of your swing. Not only is it a big part of your ability to catch and be agile over at first base to field the ball, but at the plate too, it's a key part of your swing.
Oh boy. Another throw to first this time, and Kuznia had to lunge into foul territory to catch that one, as D had to kind of throw on the move a little bit and avoid the batter, and almost threw it away.
Yeah, I think if he had a good solid throw down there, he gets the runner, but tough to throw around the runner in the batter's box.
Two count here to Eng. And a rip and a miss, and Waletsky will get the strikeout for out number 2, and Wallin will re-enter and bat here.
Batting number 18, Ben Wallin.
Looks like we are going to have a pinch runner sent into the game here. Raphael Lewis.
Number 66, Raphael Lewis.
Will run for Holmes at first base. And then Wallin, I guess you're going to have to report him as re-entering in this spot, because he did come out of the game entirely, didn't he, as when they took him off the mound. I don't think every once in a while, I'm not going to lie, they sneak somebody into right field and you don't notice, but I don't think that was the case here.
Yeah, we had a pitching change, and seems like some strategy being played out here in the field, and 2 outs, you're trying to keep the inning alive. Making sure you can do all these roster changes without any penalties.
And then coach too, kind of verifying with the umpire. You know, you don't want to get caught after the fact making a change, being forced to make a change that you don't want to as far as your pitcher. You know, when you say, okay, we're going to re-enter here. And kind of interesting that D is looked like he was joining the conversation there as well, the catcher for Armstrong. So Wallin will bat in this spot that he was originally in. I'm not sure, obviously you can't tell, but it almost seemed like Waletsky was asking the base umpire, didn't this guy come out of the game already? But obviously can re-enter here. That may not have been what it was, but.
Yeah, it's some juggling of the roster there, but apparently no penalty was due and everything's legal, so.
Fires to first. That was kind of his A move there and chasing Lewis back. Have to believe if they, you know, took the time to make this substitution that they believe Lewis runs pretty well. That one's high and tight.
Yeah, you would anticipate another re-entry, but we'll see how that plays out. Great stop.
Pitch gets away, runner is in between. Here's the throw down, and he will be tagged out. D throws two guys out on the bases in this fifth inning. So Hopkins kind of run themselves out of an inning here. No runs, one hit, and no one left on base. Through five, it is 3-2 Royals.
What makes your community feel like home? Is it knowing what's happening in your neighborhood? Or when people know your name? Connections make us a community. For more than 30 years, Northwest Community Television has connected citizens, neighbors, even sports fans through video. As life gets busier than ever, we will still offer you a connected community experience through CCX Media, so you can stay connected to the place you call home.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
3-2 ball game. Hopkins leading Armstrong, a new pitcher for the Royals after they re-entered Wallin to hit, and now on the hill will be Joey Swanson for the Royals as he moves in from center field. Swanson on the season has made 3 appearances, 0-0 record, 1.75 earned run average. Just pitched 4 innings. So O'Malley, Kuznia, and Proctor, the scheduled batters here for Armstrong as Swanson completes his warm-up throws.
See if Armstrong can follow up that successful inning last inning. They got 1 on the board and dicey inning last inning in the field, but they got a couple runners out on the Bates paths, and now see if they can tie this game up here late in the game.
So Wallin does re-enter and is the center fielder now after he re-entered as the hitter previous, so he will be up again when the next inning comes around. The fact that they got somebody thrown on the bases there might have kind of foiled that strategy a little bit too, in more ways than one for Hopkins. O'Malley takes a strike here. He is 0 for 2. Breaking ball lifted a long way to left.
Yeah.
And foul.
Just foul. I think everybody's a little surprised that one got so far out there.
It was interesting that Swanson came in, you know, confident, pumped in a strike, and then the next one nearly was hit out.
Oh, O'Malley really wanted that one. Back at the plate saying, oh, so close.
Ooh, a big breaking ball there, and O'Malley is caught looking for the second time in a row against two different pitchers, and he strikes out to start the sixth. So a game of inches. You talked about a near home run, and then it turns instead into a strikeout. Jarek Kuznia, the batter now for Armstrong.
Yeah, that's the ultimate frustration there. Go from inches from a home run to striking out on the next pitch.
Kuznia 0 for 2. He looked at a called third strike last time up. Takes that one down low, 2-0. There's a strike.
Good pitch, good pitch. Don't want to go behind 3-0 in the count, so if you want to get a strike there if you can.
And breaking ball, this one driven out to left, and it's gone. Tie ball game. Kuznia jacks one to left, and it's 3-3.
Armstrong fans out there having a good time. He got that ball low in the zone and lifted it up in the sky and tied this game up with one swing of the bat. In the wheelhouse, turn on that ball.
You kind of see that sinking feeling for the left fielder out there. He looks up and it's like, I'm out of room. So Armstrong tying things up here in good style as Kuznia launches one, and now Alex Proctor will hit.
Armstrong bench a little pumped up. Rightfully so.
Proctor chops one foul on the first pitch. I'm going to say, Swanson, he hasn't pitched a lot of innings this year and put in a pretty pressure-packed playoff situation here. And after seeing a long foul ball that was nearly a home run, and gives up one to the next hitter.
Yeah.
And up high with that one.
Now, if you're Swanson, you want to make sure you stay focused and let your fielders get the ball. Let them make the plays here. You don't need to strike everybody out. Just throw strikes. Don't put anything too easily over the plate.
Back up the middle. Holmes ranges over and makes a nice play. Haven't really had a lot of balls handled by the infielders for either team in this game, and Holmes was ready for that one, so he seemed to have survived that collision, okay earlier. Off had to come out of the game after the Royals' first and second baseman collided, catching a ball.
That was a nice play by Holmes, a little backhand and up and easy over to first base to get the out.
Here's Eric Goldman, the top of the order now. He's 0 for 3. Looks at ball one. A little bit interesting that Swanson works from the stretch even with nobody on base, so it kind of tells you that he's pretty much been used to being a relief pitcher.
Yeah, and sometimes pitchers who don't get to pitch as much tend to do that because they don't want to go through the full windup and all that extra activity.
And here's a liner into left center for a base hit. So Goldman on for the first time as he drives a 2-out single.
And then some pretty solid hit balls this inning by Armstrong. It seems like they're getting a little more confident with their swings. Swanson's throwing strikes, but Armstrong's been taking advantage of it. And I think Hopkins wants to make sure they're aware that this is the heart of the order, the top hitters for Armstrong. You don't want to take anything for granted.
We're going to see another pitching change here for the Royals as Swanson will come out, or not come out entirely, but move back out to the outfield, looks like. And they're going to call in the right fielder Wyatt Nelson to be the new pitcher.
Now pitching for the Royals, number 7, Wyatt Nelson.
So Swanson goes 2/3 of an inning, gives up the tying run on that homer, and he's responsible for the runner Goldman at first base. We'll take a timeout here and come back with more of this exciting ball game here. Armstrong has tied it up. It's 3-3 in the 6th.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid. A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed. I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close. I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us. But I know it's all gonna be worth it. I just want my family to be safe. But these are not my words. These are not my words. These are not my words.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands?
My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected.
Wyatt Nelson on in relief for Hopkins. He is making his 9th appearance, all of them in relief. He's worked 9 innings, 1-0, 1 save, and a 0.78 ERA. He has 8 strikeouts in those 9 innings pitched, so kind of their closer, it looks like, and he'll be facing Braden Gray with a runner at first base and 2 outs. Game has now been tied up at 3-3 on the home run by Kuznia here in this top of the 6th. Starts Gray with a fastball at the knees. Gray's had a pair of walks and a pair of runs scored, so hasn't been able to hit the ball today, but has been a part of their rallies for sure. And there's strike 2.
Yeah, he's been an on-base machine all throughout the season. He's been doing it again today. It's a good opportunity for him here to put Armstrong in position to take a lead. But down 0-2 is a tough spot with two strikes and 2 outs.
And that one way wide of the plate. And Goldman will move up to second. I think Nelson was kind of reaching back for something extra there, and he was not close on that one.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get the 3rd strike there, but not even close.
So now you're in a spot where a base hit more than likely puts Armstrong ahead. That runner down to second. Oh, and a called 3rd strike. Gray caught looking, and the inning will come to an end. Armstrong does tie it up, though, on the homer by Kuznia. 1 run on 2 base hits and 1 left aboard. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. We're even up 3-3 here in the Section 6 tournament.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
This is the moment I knew his future had no boundaries.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
Ben Wallin stepping in here for Hopkins. He was at the play last inning when his teammate was caught stealing. So Willeen back up to there. He is now playing in right field. He moved to center and then moved over to right when Nelson came into pitch. Takes ball 1. He is 0 for 2 today.
Just making sure that CCX truck out there in center field is parked legally, correct?
Well, let's hope so.
We'll find out soon.
Takes a strike. From what I understand, it's partly in that spot to protect the center field camera because it's so near the road there. Fouled back and out of play here by Willeen. Time was called before the pitch.
You know, Oletsky's been called on that a couple times, but he hasn't let it bother him. Sometimes pitchers get disturbed by that and annoyed and trying to argue and complain, but he just gets right back up there and he's patient when it happens and bears back down.
Well, I think it's a smart thing to not stop your motion once you're coming toward the plate. If you see that, you know, the hand go up real late, it's probably better for your body to just continue to deliver.
Definitely is, especially with nobody on. You want to finish that motion because it's not going to hurt.
And looking at pitch counts, it did not count as a pitch, even though you threw it to the plate. If it's not an official pitch, it would not count in that regard. And fouled away. Good battle here. 3-2 count. Oletsky and Willeen see who can win it here in the bottom of the 6th. And a called third strike as Oletsky wins the battle. Gets Willeen looking for the second straight time. And Bobby Wilson will be the hitter now for the Royals.
Good pitch. Outside corner of the plate. Oletsky having fun, getting a little energy showing and emotion showing here late in the game in a tie ball game.
Wilson does not swing at that one up and out of the zone. He tripled last time up, scored. That one misses inside. For the middle part of the ball game, it kind of felt like Hopkins was a little bit in control, but not able to pull away, and Armstrong tied it back up with that Kuznia homer. And this one is struck well out to left center field. A long run, and he'll get there. Nice job hauling it in out there for Page. Wilson, I think if he had hit that ball a little more to straightaway left, it might have gotten out, but it's a little bit deeper out there to left center and a little ways away from the 355 sign. They run it down. You see it wasn't terribly far from leaving the yard.
Yeah, and that made that look pretty easy, but that's a lot of ground to cover there out in center field, and that ball was hit pretty well deep into left center field.
So Matt Shaw will be the batter now for Hopkins. To third, and that'll get past and into left field for a base hit. Gray was playing over fairly near the bag there, and they hit it in the hole as Shaw is aboard. Wyatt Nelson, the pitcher, will hit now for Hopkins. Nelson doubled to left in the third, and then he had that pop-up that turned into a kind of a key play as he popped it up and the pitcher Oletsky caught it, but then sailed to throw over first base.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the key plays in this game because Oletsky was quick to throw it over to first, and he knew if he got that double up at first base, he'd get out of that jam, but he ended up sailing it over the first baseman's head, and the runner from third came in to score.
Foul down the first base line. Oletsky trying to keep it tied and give his team a chance to go in front here in the top of the 7th. Hopkins has other ideas here. They're trying to retake the lead. Kuznia had to lunge for that one. I think we again had the situation where they're saying time was out. Nelson has to dance out of the way of that one. So Gretzky approaching 100 pitches. Swing and a miss, and he will strike Nelson out. Royals in the 6th, no runs, 1 hit, and 1 left on base. We go to inning number 7, evened up at 3 apiece here in the Section 6 4A second round.
Doesn't see race. Love is love.
Quite a ball game here. 2nd seed Hopkins and 3rd seed Armstrong tied 3-3 as we go to the 7th here at Big Willow Park. See who's going to be the hero or heroes here down the stretch as we played 6 innings, and now it's kind of a first run wins to a certain extent. I mean, obviously not for sure, but Preston Reed, it's a good spot in the order for Armstrong. They've got the 3, 4, 5 hitters coming up here in the 7th.
Yeah, Jay, you mentioned it. Through the 4 innings, it looked like Hopkins was cruising. Then all of a sudden, Armstrong, there was a pitcher change. Armstrong started to hit the ball, put the ball in play, and they ended up tying the game last inning, 3-3 now in the 7th inning.
Wyatt Nelson, first pitch over for a strike. He brings it a little harder than what the previous couple pitchers for the Royals had. I think Armstrong has to kind of readjust to the heat. Reed fouling it away, and he's behind 0-2. He's been on twice, hit by pitch and a walk. Breaking ball missing. Reed, I think, was kind of hoping that would hit him in the elbow there.
Yeah, we were talking about that back in the 1st inning, that hitters try to do that, and that was a big, slow curveball and an easy one to turn into, but it came back over close enough to the plate to not hit the batter, just be called a ball.
Comes back fastball, and Reed fouling off a high fastball.
Yeah, and up 0-2 in the count, that's the last thing you want to do is hit a batter on a curveball. You want to keep that batter at the plate and make them earn their way on at least, if not get that out.
And driven well to right field for Reed. That one is going to be to the fence. Reed digging into 2nd. He will hold up there with a leadoff double for Armstrong. Timed that one pretty well. He knows that Nelson throws hard, but he really hit a solid line drive and no chance to get over and cut that one off. Willeen out there chasing it. Took a little bit of a bad bounce, but not enough for Reed to try for 3 there. And really, no, you don't want to take that chance in that spot. Looks like we're going to see a pinch runner here for Armstrong.
Yeah, great at bat by Reed there to put that ball in play. He got down early in the count, 0-2. Almost took that curveball in the shoulder on the elbow, but ended up staying alive and drove that ball to right center field for a double here. Now it'll be interesting to see how Armstrong handles this with one of their bigger hitters at the plate. Do you sacrifice this hitter and try and move that runner down to 3rd, or you let the bat swing?
Quinn McGrath sent in as a pinch runner here. And of course, not a courtesy runner. Reed was the shortstop, so comes in to run here. D has had a couple of base hits. Yeah, in a lot of ways, you hate to take the bat out of his hands, but we'll see.
Yeah, big spot. Leadoff double, cleanup hitter at the plate. Some decisions to be made here. It'll be fun to see what plays out.
You might just trust that D is going to be able to, at the very least, you know, move the runner over by putting it in play. Ooh, and he takes a mighty cut there, and strike one.
You know, I still wouldn't be surprised to see him put the sacrifice on here. That first pitch, you assume you're going to get a fastball because they're going to be planning on the sacrifice bunt. Let your cleanup hitter take a hack at it, but now we'll see what happens.
Breaking ball stays way up high, and no hint of a bunt look there.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have a bunt now. That curveball for Nelson just doesn't seem to be effective. It's too slow, it's too big. He's got to get it further out over the plate for it to have some effect.
Does have a lively fastball, though, and D fouls it back.
Yeah, he throws pretty hard. It seems to be a pretty straight fastball. So if D's able to square it up, it could go pretty far. He's got to line it up and get the bat on the ball.
Didn't mean to swing at that one. A high, slow curveball.
Yeah, Nelson's got to get that ball down for it to be effective. But with a big breaking ball like that down in the dirt, also you got the runner at second. So you got to be careful. You can't put that ball in the dirt too much. Otherwise, you're going to allow that runner from second to scoot down to third.
Comes back fastball, and this one looks like it'll get out of play. Onto the top of the dugout there. So Nelson and D battling here. McGrath at second, nobody out, top of the seventh.
Wants to help you, Wyatt. Here we go, buddy.
And a miss, and Nelson with a big strikeout there for the Royals, and now Waletsky will be the hitter.
Huge strikeout there. Now you take the sacrifice, mainly you would assume they take the sacrifice out of play, but to get that first out with the cleanup hitter there, big strikeout.
Fouls the fastball back. Strike one. Waletsky 0 for 2 and was hit by a pitch the first time he came to the plate.
Chance for him to help himself out here and give himself a lead going into the bottom of the seventh. See if he can execute.
Late on that one and fouls it away. I think Nelson, you know, the breaking ball right now is only going to be to show a different speed. He's more confident in the fastball.
Yeah, he's throwing that pretty well. And again, I think that curveball just isn't effective up in the zone like he's been throwing it. And if you put it in the dirt, it allows the runner to move.
Way up high with that fastball. One-two pitch is popped up. It might be playable. A long run though, and it will get down. No chance to get there.
Yeah, Waletsky's been pretty late on every pitch thus far. See if he's able to time it after all these pitches and come around and put something in play.
That pitch looked like it was probably up and out of the strike zone, but you don't want to take that chance. We've seen a lot of called third strikes here today too, and that kind of sticks in the back of your mind that maybe if it's
you got to protect
close,
the plate.
I got to take a cut.
Yep, 2 strikes.
And a called third strike as he is caught looking. So Nelson back-to-back Ks after that leadoff double, and now he'll try and finish it off as Pertula comes up. Actually, we might see a pinch hitter, it looks like, for the Falcons. Mark Malek will come up to bat, number 5.
Now coming to the plate, number 5.
Malek's hitting .400, although he hasn't had a lot of at-bats. He's 4 for 10. Had some injuries, but kind of nice to be able to have a guy that you have on your bench that you feel pretty confident in and bring in a spot like this.
Yeah, 4 for 10, not a big sample size, but you know, good average on the time he's been to the plate this spring. And you want to do anything you can to get that run across the plate. Apparently, coach thinks this is a better matchup for the situation. We'll see how it plays out. It'll be a big opportunity for Hopkins to get out of this inning if they're able to pull it off after that leadoff double. Heart of the order for Armstrong. But still a little bit of legwork to put in here to get out of this.
Not sure what the delay is. We've had came down to check on the pinch hitter, and then
I think this umpire is very wants to make sure everybody's aware of the substitutions and nobody's changing things. And I think we're just swapping center field and right field. Very interesting coaching. I don't know if I've ever seen this actually.
Yeah, both of these are guys that had been pitching earlier in the game, and I'm guessing it has more to do with who they think the ball might be hit to. And
I guess maybe with Nilsson throwing fastballs, you know, you would anticipate maybe they're putting a stronger fielder on right field, switching him from center over to right. But we'll see how that plays out. I don't know if I've ever seen that coaching decision made middle of the inning.
There's a breaking ball for a strike. He finally harnessed it. I don't imagine they have much of charts on Malik. I don't think that switch has, you know, much to do with him as a hitter, more so just that they've got a hard thrower out there, and you want to have the opportunity. And it gets away. Runner is going to advance. Didn't get all that far away, but good alert base running by McGrath, and he will move up.
Yeah, didn't get that far away, but I don't think he came up gunning right away. And I think he had the batter was still in the box in his line of throwing. Oh, extra knee here at the end.
So now the go-ahead run 90 feet away, but 2 outs. So Malik and Nelson battling. And a late cut on that one.
Yeah, I think if you're the batter here, you got to anticipate fastball, fastball, fastball. I would not be looking for the breaking ball, but if Nelson's able to get that breaking ball over the plate like he did last time, it's a great pitch, but it's a risky pitch in this position. Nobody at first and a runner on third.
And lifted out to short center, coming on, and the catch is made. They made the switch, and Moline gets the job done in center for the Royals. So a big threat goes by the wayside for Armstrong. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 left aboard. We go to the bottom of 7. It's still 3-3.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back here to Minnetonka as Waletzky will be relieved after 6 innings. Blake Williams coming on, and Joey Swanson will lead it off in the bottom of the 7th here for the Royals.
Solid outing by Waletzky. He seemed to cruise right along and ran a couple tough spots, but left the game and left his team in a good position here, tied as they're headed into the bottom of the 7th. But overall, a good outing by him.
So Swanson stepping in here for the Royals. Bounced back to the pitcher and then walked.
Joey Swanson.
So Blake Williams getting the call. This is his 9th appearance, kind of evenly split between starting and relieving in the way it looks. Got a record of 2-3, a 4.26 ERA in 23 innings, allowing 27 hits, 7 walks, 23 strikeouts.
Much different pace out there on the mound. Change of pace for Armstrong, but still the same objective. Throw strikes and let your defense make the plays here.
High chopper. Goldman handles that, and they get the out to begin the 7th. Confidence builder a little bit for a relief pitcher who comes in, gets that first guy.
Yeah, you always want to get that first out, especially late in the game, tied in the section playoffs here. Walking into a pretty high-stress situation, but nice, easy hopper out to the second baseman to get the first out.
Luke Polyak, the batter here for the Royals. He's 1 for 3 today. And that one off the bat, it looks like kind of an awkward, as he tried to avoid it, but and this fastball up high and out of the zone from Williams. Rip and a miss.
Good hack there, and a little ahead of the pitch.
Just got a piece of that breaking ball. Another 1-2 pitch coming from Williams here. And again, a foul from Polyak.
Got to get those breaking balls down. I think they're a little too high up in the zone. If Polyak sits back a little bit, he might be able to square one up if he leaves another one up in the zone.
Way up high and in with that one.
You keep those pitches close to the zone. You want to keep the batter on their toes. Those are easy balls to take. You just got to get out of the way and not let it hit your bat.
Pops this one up. It'll get foul and out of play. And just got a piece of that one.
He's good at bat. He just seems to be a little bit ahead of the ball, and he's got to sit back and wait for it to come to him.
Taps it down to second. It's going to be a tough play. Throw to first, not in time. Polyak beats it out.
Yeah, a very interesting little thing. If we see it on the replay, Polyak, during the windup, I think he knew the curveball was coming. He actually took a couple steps up in the box during the windup and anticipated that curveball and was able to put it out into play. The previous curveballs, he was just following off because they were so far down in the zone. He was able to scoot up in the box, and he just puts that ball into play, and his speed enables him to beat the throw down to first.
And then you see it, Kuznia trying to apply the tag, but the base umpire ruling there correctly that it's the same as when you run through the bag there. He was in foul ground, so he is not, the fact that he came off the bag did not hurt him there.
Yeah, I think the rule is you have to make a clear effort to round the base and go towards second. And he just kind of rolled that way. I don't think there was any effort to obviously go to second with the ball right there. So, but, from the first baseman's perspective, it doesn't hurt to put the tag on.
Chiriboga, the batter here for Hopkins. Runner on first, one out. Runner is going. It's a chopper back to the pitcher. Williams can't come up with it and then throws it away. This might score the winning run. It is. Polyak rounding third. Here comes the throw. Safe. And what an ending as the Royals will win it here in the bottom of the seventh. A wild finish as Williams fought that chopper off and then guns it, and there's a lot of room in foul ground here, and that made this one a scoreable play for the Royals. See Williams doing what he can, but he was not close with that, and then it's a long run to go get this, but even so, it wound up a very close play at the plate.
I did not think it was going to be that close at all.
I did not
I'm amazed that it was that close, but great play by the right fielder to hustle down there. The ball just didn't have a lot of meat to make it that far out into right field, so it was such a long throw. It took a while for him to get to the ball, and then it's a long throw to get it to home. And bang play at the plate. Great slide to get that game-winning run. Tough loss for Armstrong and for Hopkins. Some momentum to build on into later into these playoffs.
So a thriller here at Big Willow. 4-3 Royals is the final. We'll come back to wrap things up here in just a moment. Great ball game here on CCX Sports. Welcome back here to Big Willow. Great ball game in the Section 6 tournament. Hopkins pulling out a win in the bottom of the seventh, 4-3 over Armstrong. We're joined by three of the Royals that helped to get it done. And starting with Morgan Holmes, way back early in the ball game, you jumped on that one, drove it over the left field fence. And how did that feel to kind of get the team going a little bit there?
Felt good. We gave up that early run early in the game, and it was good to bounce back right after and not let that dwell too long in the team.
When you get growing up playing baseball, you kind of think about playoff games like this. How much fun was it to be a part of this one? Because it was close most of the way like that.
It was a ton of fun. It was a close game the whole time. They're a really good team. We've competed with them for the past few years, and it's a huge win.
Get to go into the holiday weekend, still into the winner's bracket. How big was this win in terms of this tournament?
It was big. Sections, it's double elimination, and it's good to go into the final bracket without a loss on our schedule.
Morgan, thanks for joining us, and good luck next round.
Thank you.
And Wyatt Nelson finishing things off on the hill there, and talk a little bit about that. You come in a pressure situation like that. How'd you feel like things went out for you on the mound?
It was good. I was excited to get out there because I like pitching. Don't really get the opportunity too much, but it was nice.
This game, we felt like coming in, had a chance to go either way. Number 2 and 3 seeds, records were pretty much the same. How much fun was it to go against a team that, you guys tested each other like that?
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It's great to have a challenge and really kind of push back and show that you can do it.
Now you guys get to rest up for a few days before you head into that next round in the winner's bracket. You know, how important do you feel like this win was in terms of your goal of, you know, ultimately winning the tournament?
Oh, it's huge. Like Mo said earlier, going into this final game here without a loss under our belt is good. It lets us sit back a little more and prepare.
All right, thanks for joining us. Have fun in the rest of the tournament here.
Thank you.
And Luke Polyak diving in a cloud of dust here with the game-winning run. Talk about that play as you were out there. What did you see?
Yeah, I don't know. Coach gave me the steal sign there a few pitches into Kyle's at bat. It was running. I saw the pitcher misplay a little bit. Saw the throw go over the head. I was like, I know I got to bust it. Coach gave me the wheeler on third, and I knew I had it there at the end when I took the slide.
I was surprised when we were watching the play develop. I really didn't think it was going to be as close as it was. He threw a pretty good strike there, but did you feel like you got a good break and you had, you know, you were going to have the opportunity to get under it?
Yeah, for sure. Once I touched that third base, I knew. I had a pretty good chance of going home, and even though the throw was closer than I thought it was, I think I still got in there.
You guys have had a couple of close games in this tournament. You know, how much fun is it to come out on top? Obviously, everybody's wanting to win, but to be able to survive, you know, good tests like this.
Right, for sure. That's a good team right there, and I think the biggest thing here was our atmosphere. There's fans out there, fans over here. It was just crazy. It was really good to come out with a win, second game.
What's the biggest key now as you guys head into next week as you try to win the tournament?
I think Wayzata for sure. We've played him 3 times, played him hard 3 times, came out with 3 L's, though. We got to rest up this weekend and go back in, see if we can get ourselves some dubs.
All right, enjoy the win. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thanks, you too.
All right, Luke Polyak scored the game-winning run there for Hopkins on an exciting play, sliding in under the tag at home plate. So the Royals stay unbeaten into the winner's bracket final now, and Armstrong still alive after the loss, but they'll have to battle back through the loser's bracket. Great ball game here. We hope you enjoyed it from Big Willow. For Drew Keogh and all of our crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Again, your final is Hopkins 4, Armstrong 3.